Welcome back, YouTube. Zero HP yet again here. We're doing some of our recaps and reviews and stuff like that. I have Tracy and Alyssa here. Ian, I guess I'm in like all the videos apparently. But hey, so we are doing a review and a recap, kind of all in one. We're going to review the last, really quickly, just go over the last two Hobbit films, and then kind of get our thoughts on the upcoming film here, the last one, The Battle of the Five Armies. It's coming out, I believe, on December 9th? Right?
That sounds right, yeah.
December 9th? I think so. Don't
Somewhere
quote me on that, YouTube. So starting off, like obviously the first film, I kind of called it out a little bit as far as where they'd end it with wargs and they're on the tree over the cliff. Like that was a really dramatic part, kind of the first part of the book.
A cliffhanger, if you will?
Yeah. So that's kind of where it was in the book. I think they felt like they followed it most closely, the book most closely in the first film.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Did you guys? I don't know if you have you both read it.
They definitely veered off in the second one.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's add Legolas in every scene. He's hot and blonde and kills orcs a
And
lot.
Orlando Bloom.
He is literally in like 200 words of this book. Like he's literally he's on like 3 pages. There's Legolas. He's there and he's gone.
Yep.
But they had to get him in there because they're kind of trying to. You can feel they're really kind of connecting the Lord of the Rings films a lot. Like they're leaving off.
Yeah, and I heard that they actually put some information from like the Silmarillion and stuff in the movies as well as like just the Hobbit book. Like,
Right.
They kind of
Absolutely.
brought the whole universe together a little bit.
For those of you who may not know, the Silmarillion is something that Tolkien wrote about like the very kind of beginnings of Middle Earth and like how a lot of the things started with. So there's a whole lot there, but that's kind of what the Silmarillion is. But yes, I felt like the first book was pretty much almost completely loyal to the first book, first film. Second one veered off. What was some of the crazy stuff that went down in the second film? Do you guys remember anything that impacted you most? Like what you remember the most?
Well, I mean, like a favorite part, but
Favorite part, or just part you remember a lot, or
I-
something you didn't like?
freaking loved the like river scene when everybody's rolling in the tubes and like then there's people jumping out of the barrels onto like land and then jumping back into the water and like I forget who it was, but they were in a barrel and they just like popped out like
Yeah, that was the I can't remember all their names. It was the bigger guy, right? The one who's always like eating. What's his name? Oh, we're not gonna sit here and play the name game. There's so many names right now. It's late, but yeah, there's just a lot of perfect. Again, kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, which we did a video review for as well. Perfect kind of humorous points, but it never gets too funny. It's always still kind of in the serious note.
Right.
But it needs to be funnier. The Hobbit was a much lighter book, a lot lighter read. You know?
And it's supposed to be more of like a children's oriented sort of thing. So
Right.
it's more of like a family film for everybody rather than like the Lord of the Rings, which is
Fantasy,
very heavy.
adventure, yeah.
And then it's even reflected in the world. I mean, this is before Sauron returned, or so it wasn't.
Oh, that's true. It's
the
when
world
things
is
start
like-
to get dark. Because
Right.
they're still pretty like happy about all their lives.
Because they're still going right now. At the end of the second film, they've gotten the meetings together of Saruman, Gandalf, all the different people like higher Elrond, Galadriel. They're all meeting together because they're thinking because they have the Necromancer, which we know if you've read the book is Sauron. He's in that was it Daguldur, I think, that old broken down fortress.
Yeah.
So we know that's Sauron, but the characters don't yet. And a lot of people might not know it if they haven't read the book, so sorry. Spoiler, we'll put that in the tag. I spoiled it. But,
You ruined
because
the entire thing.
he gets chased. I know, I just fucked it all up. I'm sorry. But yeah, is there any scenes from the first two films at all that you stuck with you that you really liked or didn't like?
I know for sure what your favorite scene must have been with the giant spiders in the forest. Is clearly your favorite.
That was one of my favorite parts in the book. Is like hearing about him like disappearing and kind of like saving the day sort of. And,
Yeah.
Like I really liked a lot of like, especially like Bilbo's parts when he like kind of feels more worthy of things and like it makes you feel for the character a lot more because
Right.
like
I'm going on an adventure.
I quote that all the time. Nobody ever understands me.
No, well, that's sad. I don't understand. How do you not get that?
Well, like I guess not as many people watch the movies as obsessively.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Or read the books.
Yeah.
One of the two.
But it was that part was really insane. A lot of the really cool spiders. The spiders looked nasty as all hell. They did a good job with that. I actually want to bring up something that we're missing Jimmy, but he's got a big gripe with the films, and I completely agree with him. He really laments the loss of the physical use of guys in the suits
Yes.
for the orcs. And they used a ton of miniatures in Lord of the Rings, like the buildings and this. It had a very real world feel, whereas these films have just like
CGI.
just all CGI. Does that bother you at all, or do you not care?
Yeah, actually, I've been lamenting this since like I was little. Actually,
Okay.
like back in like like Jurassic Park sort of days, like they had like cooler, like more realistic like dinosaurs, and then like the later ones have become more and more CGI, and like
Right.
I talked about it so much, and like even Star Wars when they started to do the episode 1 through 3
Right.
and stuff, I was very like I talk about it all the time how much I hated it, and like at the same time I do see certain benefits, but like I do think that the mix is probably the best.
The
way
mix
to
is
do
the best,
everything.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You've been Puppet Yoda's biggest defender for as long as
Well,
I've known
I mean
you.
that's my thing is I rather see, you know, one of my arguments for the whole CGI thing is that I rather see Jim Henson Yoda because he's actually physically there, whether he's silly or anything, he's physically existing.
Yeah, he's a
versus CGI, you know, episode 1 through 3 Yoda who's just flipping and jumping and doing all. He's not real.
Yeah,
you know?
he's not there. Yeah, I
I
mean,
definitely do really appreciate a lot of the makeup artistry that comes along with a lot of like the people being
especially
there.
the dwarves.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, they have like the big lumps of their head, and they're just these like big burly dudes, and the makeup is incredible. You can't tell it's makeup.
The majestic
just-
mane of Thorin who can shoot.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. He does. Okay, the guy does a great job. The music within the books. There's, Tolkien wrote so many songs, like dozens and dozens and dozens of songs, and really, really cool. They always come up with a great way to sing those songs. Every movie has a memorable, really good feeling. Like they come up with that song. Okay, what's the one?
Far over the misty mountains cold.
Yes.
I actually sang that at the karaoke night.
No
I
shit.
dressed up as a dwarf and everything. It was
Oh,
awesome.
I
we
had
need
plans
film
to-
evidence of this.
Yeah, I had plans to do Gimli one year for Comic Con.
Oh, she wants to wrap her hair on her face and call it
that'd be
Gimli's
so
beard.
cool.
You can't deny me that. One
fuck
pleasure.
ever.
We need photo evidence of that as
Yes.
So, okay, so we kind of talked about what things we liked and things we didn't like. I'm not a big fan of all this extra CGI. I'm not a big fan of Legolas being there, honestly.
Well, the one, this is just halt the train as it's leaving the station. The one thing that I have to say, whether I'm just an idiot, maybe I'm just too American, I don't know what it was, but before I heard Smaug's name, I was so convinced.
It was Smaug.
It was Smaug. And then when Thorin said it in the beginning of the second movie,
They all said it.
It was, but I mean, he was the first to say it, and it like kind of broke my heart a little bit on the inside. I was like, no, don't tell me that. It's Smaug.
But then it didn't matter
Smaug.
anymore because Benedict Cumberbatch opened his mouth
Ugh.
and delivered an
Ugh.
incredible
Ugh.
performance for Smaug.
Smaug. I
Like,
can't get over
was he
that.
not amazing though? As soon as I was worried about it, like a talking dragon, you know, because
But
it
he
works
was
in the
so
books. You don't need to
perfect,
worry
though.
about it.
He was
But
so perfect.
I was like, is it gonna sound weird? I mean, he's this giant dragon. He's like, hello there. He's like, is he gonna have like this like imperial English accent? I was worried about it. Is he gonna be Scottish? Get out my treasure! Like I was worried about what the hell they were gonna do with
I
that
think-
dragon. And they got Benedict Cumberbatch, and he opened his mouth and was just like, holy
Anything he
shit.
touches is gold.
Oh my god. They did a great job.
For sure. Well,
God.
Come on!
terrible
Oh my
jokes.
God.
Come on!
So yeah, so it left off with a cliffhanger. Freaking Benedict Cumberbatch is flying. He's like, I am death, and that's like, and then there's gonna be all the fighting. And this is gonna be a
Humans
crazy
and the dwarves.
third film. Like, is there anything you guys are expecting from the third film in particular that you're waiting for?
Hopefully less Legolas, just personal opinion.
No, it's gonna be more Legolas. Again. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Pretty blonde boy. What do you think?
I mean, obviously, I'm expecting a lot of action.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot.
Like,
of
yeah,
fighting.
for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm hoping, and I think what I'm going to see a lot too, they're going to do a lot more of those scenes that are very Lord of the Ring-ish. I think we're going to start,
Serious.
we're going to, like, near the end, I hope they end the film with the opening music of all the, you know, like, I can just feel them like, look, okay, now it's just going to get serious, because they're going to get rid of, there's going to be a lot of fights. There's going to be the battle with the dragon and the 5 armies, and then also they're going to fight Sauron, kick him out of that fortress. And then they're going to leave it off for
if they try to do
Fellowship.
that, that's going to be a long movie.
Yeah,
gonna
it's
be
gonna.
a
Well, it
lot.
could be just like episode 3 where they just crammed as many fucking lightsaber
Yeah.
battles as they could in a 2.5 hour film, 8
Yeah.
or whatever the hell it was. So,
8.
so it could be like that. But I hope there's more ties to the films now since they've already gone that far.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to expand upon the Hobbit, like other parts of like the books, or at all? Like, do you
Yeah,
think
I
they're
would
going to
hope
make
so.
more
No,
movies off
I
the
think
series?
they're gonna try to keep it with the whole trilogy, Trinity feel. Of they have the 3 Lord of the Rings, and then you have the 3 Hobbits, and
I just feel
what
like
would
they're
they
not
do
gonna
from here
stop.
that would be cohesive? You know what I mean?
We have
Like-
Shadow of Mordor to fill those gaps in. That's what I'm saying. You got to play that.
No
Both of you guys have to
crossovers.
play
No
it.
crossovers.
Because that will fill the gap. It does, and it's gonna do a good job. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's another video for another time, which will also be up there. Check it out. But yeah, I guess that'll probably do it for today. Thank you both for having your opinions. They're always valued. So yeah, this is a Zero HP. Started our little recap preview of the Hobbit films. Can't wait. We'll definitely be doing a review for them. Definitely comment. We want to hear what you guys think. What you want, what do you want out of the next film? What did you think about the last two? But yeah, let us know. Comment, like it, subscribe, dislike it if you're a dick or whatever. So, all right, we'll talk to you guys
You're
later.
entitled to your opinions. It's okay.
Don't touch that dislike.